Hi, you're watching Floyd Steinberg's YouTube channel. User Francesco Miguel, please forgive me if I didn't pronounce that correctly, asked me to show how to create keyboard splits on the Yamaha EX5. You do this by creating your own performance set, so I'm going to run a quick summary on that and also show the keyboard sequencer. A performance is a collection of 16 patches, one for each MIDI channel, so let's browse some sounds we'll use. By the way, all these sounds are from my sound set, which you can download for free from www.floydsteinberg.com. To use these sounds in multi or performance mode, press the Performance button and then the Edit button. This will take you to a spreadsheet screen. Press the F3 button if you're seeing another screen. On this table, the 16 patches and the MIDI tracks are aligned in columns. You can use the cursor keys to move around, press left and right to change tracks, and up and down for all the parameters. So let's go through all the important lines. In the first line you can select the sound bank. In the second line you can select the patch number. You can use the jog wheel to flick through the patches quickly. Here are the sounds I selected for this performance. Track 1 is a distorted brass. Track 2 is a detuned synth pad. Track 3 is a filtered saw wave. Track 4 is a saw wave piano. Track 5 is an electronic drum kit, and many more. You can use up to 16 different patches because there are 16 MIDI channels available. In the next lines of this table, you can adjust the volume of the patches and the left-right panning, also global reverb and chorus mix for each track. And next line, you can turn on the patches insert effects individually. Depending on the selection of sounds, you can use up to 2 patches with insert effects. The EX5 is 20 years old now and its computing power isn't quite up there, so you have to distribute this sparingly. If one of your patches here uses the VL or FDSP or virtual analog engine, only one of the patches can have its insert effects activated. So it's a good idea to use only AWM patches first and add one AN or real voice later. In the next line, you can set up the audio output the track gets routed to. The standard EX5 has 2 separate stereo audio outputs. This comes handy if you want to use external effects on one patch but not on the others. You can also buy an extension board, which adds another set of stereo output jacks to your synth, so you can use even more external hardware. Let's continue. Here you can tune your patches, and here you can switch on and off polyphony. In poly mode, you can play more than one note, and in mono mode, it's a solo instrument. Next, you can determine if this channel can react to panning and volume changes via MIDI. And here's the important bit. By turning on the layer switch for this patch, we can assign it to a partition of the keyboard, so you can play this sound when the performance is active. You can only assign 2 layers, sadly. In this example, there's the pad sound on the left hand and the lead sound on the right hand. In the next 2 lines, you can set the note range of your layered patches. Here, my pad sound ranges from C-2, the lowest note, to F#2, while the lead sound ranges from G2 to G8, which is the highest note. The rest of the table has all sorts of stuff, for example for setting up filter and amp envelopes, initial controller values and much more that I won't get into in this video. The important thing is to remember you need to turn on the layer switch and assign a note range. Now that we set up our performance, let's record a pattern sequence. To do this, press the pattern button in the top row. We'll begin by step recording a drum groove. In my performance, the drums are on channel 5, and you can quickly switch to that channel by pressing the button number 5 on the right panel. Press record and play, and then enter your drum notes. By the way, if you set the velocity here to 0, the EX5 will record the actual velocity you played. Now, this sounds very robotic. Let's add some groove to this. For this to work, first turn off the effects mute in the second row here. Then press the pattern effects button or F2. Move the cursor to the top right and you can select from a variety of grooves, which are applied to your pattern in real time. Now let's add some bass and snare drums. Let's listen. Okay, I think you get the point. You can also record some controller movement on top of this, but for this video I'll just load some patterns I recorded previously. Okay, so here are 3 patterns from the track you heard in the beginning of this video. So what you can do now is to go back to performance mode and press the key map button on the bottom left of the left panel, which will take you to this screen. And here I can assign my patterns to specific keys on the keyboard. For example, I'll assign the first pattern to the G1 key. In the second column, turn on all the MIDI tracks. Leave the play mode on toggle. I'll assign the other patterns to F and F sharp respectively, and now I can trigger those patterns with these keys. Pressing the keys again will stop the pattern playback. This is a nice and uncomplicated way to put together some tracks, but your timing has to be quite accurate, otherwise you'll hear glitches and pauses, like the ones in the beginning of this video. And that's it for today. I hope you found this interesting, and if you did, please consider subscribing. For more information on the Yamaha EX5, visit my channel page. There's a playlist there containing all my videos on this late 90s workstation. And as always, thanks for watching and see you next week.